Hey, good to see you again at GergoPrint 3D. This time I'm back with two small but practical projects which will show you the difference between the way I use my Sovol Plus machines. I used my new SVO7 Plus to print this olive bottle tray, while my SVO6 Plus was the better choice to print these chair socks. Keep watching to find out why. You will get a little insight into how I approach these household upgrades from scratch and all the hardware and software tools I use. In the second project, we will even talk about the special printing technique for multiple parts and what you need to consider when using it. I encourage you to check out the rest of my channel for similar projects, 3D printer upgrades, and tips. Subscribe so you don't miss the 3 videos I post every month. I recently obtained these drip drop oil bottles for my kitchen. I keep virgin olive oil in one and non-virgin oil in the other. But since I keep forgetting which is which, I came up with this idea to make a little tray for them with labels. It actually took less than an hour from the idea to having this tray, and most of this time was spent by the 3D printer working on its own. I started by measuring the diameter of the bottles with my trusty calipers. In a 1-minute sketch in Fusion 360, I placed the two holes next to each other, extruded a rectangle around them, and chamfered the front edge to make room for the initials of the virgin and non-virgin oils. Quickly rounding the corners, then 2 clicks and the model appears in Cura, where I pick my well-tuned PLA profile for the SVO7 Plus for its speed and high quality. A few more adjustments of the layer height, wall width, and infill, and I'm sending the model to the printer where I have already loaded the marble PLA from which I think this tray will look its best. It always amazes me how input shaping can keep the movements accurate at these crazy speeds. It would have taken 80 minutes with the SVO6 Plus or 4 hours for my old little Wanhao to print this model. With the magic of Clipper on the SVO7 Plus, just 35 minutes later, I was able to place the bottles into this perfectly fitting tray. Fantastic, isn't it? The same day, I realized the leather pads got worn down on the legs of my chairs and they were already scratching the floor. I needed to act quickly. A quick measure revealed a little more than 23 millimeters in both directions, but since I was planning to print it out of highly flexible TPE in the Fusion 360 sketch, I rounded it down for a tighter fit. As you can see, I even made room for the circular protrusions which used to hold the leather pads. Quickly extruded to 40 millimeters, extruding the bottom in 2 parts to increase the contact area between the layers that make up the sides and the bottom. Notice I set the wall width to 1.2 millimeters, since I was going to print these parts using the 0.6 millimeter nozzle, which is now permanently installed on my SVO6 Plus. Flexible materials like TPU or TPE are less likely to clog the bigger nozzle, and in my experience, Clipper input shaping did not have such a dramatic effect on the already faster print speed when using a 0.6mm or bigger nozzle. So it just makes sense to split printing jobs between the two printers based on the nozzle size requirements. If it needs precision and fine detail, I pick the SVO7 Plus. If it needs the strength of thicker layers or uses special abrasive material, the job goes to the SVO6 Plus. However, I wanted to print all 4 socks in one go to avoid the need for personal involvement before each piece. While I could have just placed the 4 pieces and started the print job, that would have resulted in much stringing due to the nature of TPE that I'm using. See? Normally, when we print multiple parts in the same job, the printer will draw the first layer of each part, then move on to the next layer of every part, and so on. To prevent clogging, it is not advised to have a lot of retractions when using flexible materials. Without retraction, however, there will be a lot of stringing as the print head keeps jumping between the pieces on every layer. It would be much better to print each piece in whole, one after the other. And there is a setting exactly for this in Cura that's called print order. We have to be mindful though of the printhead dimensions as we place these objects, otherwise it would knock already printed parts off the print bed as it moves to print the next. The slicer can help with placing the parts far enough from each other. Just make sure to set your printhead dimensions correctly in the extruder section of the printer. Whoever set these at Sovol did not really understand the purpose of these dimensions, especially the field called gantry here, which does not refer to the total height of the printer, but rather to the height of the x-axis rods at the lowest Z positions. The correct value is 34 mm for the SV06 Plus. And be careful with the rest of the printhead dimensions too, since they depend on any fan mods you might have made to your printer. Okay, back from this useful little side note, I was ready to send the print job to the SV06 Plus. I no longer use SD cards with my SV06 Plus either. Thanks to an Octoprint upgrade, I can easily send this job over Wi-Fi as well, since I have an old Android phone running Octo 4a that controls the printer. And this phone also acts as a webcam, which not only produced this time-lapse, but it has also let me keep an eye on the printer while it was working on the chair socks, one after the other. Well, what do you think? Leave a comment. Have you ever considered this surprising benefit of the larger build surface of these plus-size printers? A way to save time without sacrificing quality by printing several smaller items one by one. So, there you go, 2 quick but practical little projects that highlight the unique advantages of these Sovol printers. And hopefully I was even able to show you something handy that can help to improve your 3D printing experience. Please reward my efforts by liking and subscribing. Thank you for being part of this channel. Until next time, happy printing!